excited to talk to you. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me and get on here. I have a lot of questions to ask you, so I hope you're ready for this. I'm very excited to learn more about you and your process. I know I'm featuring you over at EUPHORIA Magazine, so shout out to EUPHORIA. I'm really excited about this piece, and I'm excited to just learn more about your creative process. I just want to start out by saying you definitely seem like kind of a jack of all trades in the industry. I mean, you're not only an artist yourself, but you produce, you write, you're a CEO. I mean, how do you manage all of that?
I try. I work hard. I would be lying if I said I got it all figured out as far as like, scheduling and stuff like that. But, I got a lot of responsibilities on my plate. And I just do my best, man. I just grind and it's working. And shout out to my team for holding me down. They really help take some of the weight off my chest. And yeah, man, it's going good. Not only that, I'm a dad too. So like, that's probably the one that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Juggling all of that. That's amazing. How do you keep yourself grounded?
I smoke a lot of weed. For real, man. And, I just, at nighttime, I like to, make music, and that's my meditation. That's my escape, just making music and stuff like that. But yeah, just knowing that if I keep working hard, the more stuff I have, the more success that's going to come, the more successful I become, the more people I can help and, take care of my family better. So it's all worth it at the end of the day,
That's awesome. I am going to start off asking you a few background questions. So I know you've been in this industry a really long time, but when exactly did you start pursuing music?
When I was 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was like making music probably when I was like 12, but when I was 15 is when I like finally started to like take it serious. I was getting into like real studios and, making moves in the industry and stuff like that. So I'm like a young OG. I've been in the game, as long as these old guys, but, I'm still young.
That's amazing. And that's so refreshing to hear. What has kind of motivated you to step out of the shadows and step into the more spotlight part of the industry?
It's easier to sell stuff when you're famous, when you have a buzz and you have a fan base. I have big dreams, right? I have companies that I want to blow up, clothing companies. I just want to be out there. I love doing shows, right? If you're not famous, you can't do shows, right? No one's going to come. So, things like that. Like I made a lot of money behind the scenes in music, and it was cool. But, being an artist is really fun, and, shooting music videos and being on stage. Those are my two favorite things. So all of that comes with, being in the spotlight. So
that's awesome. I know you are signed to Quality Control, but you're also the CEO of your own label and management company. Can you tell me a little bit about that? That's crazy. Another hat you're wearing.
Yeah. So when I first signed to QC, I've always had dreams of having my own label and stuff like that. But when I first signed to QC, I was very like intrigued by the way that they run their business, Coach K&P. And like I just watched them. I had a front row seat to be able to watch these guys take QC from, an independent label and take it and turn it into what they turned it into today. So that's very inspiring to me when I see that. Like those are like my two role models in life. So I want to do the same thing they do, and I'm proud to be part of what they got going on. But I'm also proud to be building something that, one day is going to be as big as that. And it's amazing. It's a blessing, man. And I keep pushing myself, and just anytime I got an idea, I always try to execute it. And that's basically what I be doing every day.
That's awesome. That sounds like a great work ethic. It's refreshing to hear how passionate you are about what you do. I feel like that's a really refreshing thing to hear because you don't hear that often, honestly. I mean, everybody's kind of just going for clout or fame or money or whatever it may be, but this sounds like it's truly your passion.
100%.
I'm going to shift gears a little bit. I know we're waiting on this, but you recently shared some of your thoughts on Twitter this past weekend, specifically saying you were venting a little bit, before heading to the studio. What was on your mind?
There's always stuff on my mind, and like I try to keep it off the internet. That's like my thing. Like I stay off the internet with my feelings sometimes because I don't want to get say something that's going to get me in trouble. I don't like to hurt people's feelings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think you're talking about the other day when I had a couple of tweets where I was like kind of venting about like not receiving credit, the lack of love in the industry and stuff like that. And it's like I've helped so many people and I've done some pretty like really amazing things in this industry, like pretty impactful things that like really shifted the culture, and I never gotten credit for it. And I always feel like I don't want to take credit for it unless the person that I help, admits it first. You feel me? Because then they're mad at me, then someone else gets mad at me. And then I like to have a clean face, and I know a lot of people in the industry, they like to be super private about their lives and about, the moves they make. A lot of people want people to think that they write their own music when they really don't and stuff like that. So it was just on my mind. I was going through it. I was in one of those moods, and I just let off some tweets,
That's awesome. Thank you for providing that insight.
We was also talking, I'm sorry to cut you off, but we were also talking about how, like I said, I'm blessed enough to make a lot of money in this music industry because I've met artists that are way bigger than me that are broke. You know what I mean? And it's a sad truth about this industry. Is like I've met people that are way more famous than me, that are more further along in their career, that don't have half the stuff I have, and it just blows my mind. And that's the lack of, like, I don't know, it's because they signed bad deals or they don't got their stuff right. And that's why I try not to be just an artist, right? Because I've made money off being a producer. I made money off being a songwriter. I made money off being a manager. I made money off being an engineer. I made money off being a label executive. And if I was just doing one of those things, I wouldn't be close to where I'm at in my life right now. So multiple incomes is key. And, just chase any dream you have. Just do it, man. It's possible.
That's wild. I fully believe that, though. It's crazy to think about. You should write a self-help book of, like, people going into the music industry or music industry for dummies. I feel like you have the roadmap to how you get your bag in this industry. Let me quote one of your tweets here. I just want to make sure I'm getting it correctly, but one of your tweets read, "I'm talking about if it wasn't for Jordan Hollywood, some of the biggest artists in the world wouldn't have their biggest song. If you know, you know." Shots fired. I mean, seeing that, it's like, oh, I feel like you're targeting somebody, or, just airing it all out. Where do you get that, like, motivation or that drive or that confidence to just, like, say what's on your mind?
I don't even think about it like that. I just said it. That was just what I was thinking about at the moment. But it's true, though. I mean, it's facts. It's like if I take somebody and I put them in the room with somebody and they create something that day, like, obviously they did it because they're talent, but if I'm the one that connected it together, you know what I mean? I feel like I deserve a little bit of credit, right? When I'm hearing records that are like 5 times platinum, that, like, if it wasn't for me connecting the dots, they wouldn't have happened. It's kind of like, at what point are you gonna give me a tweet? Give me
something.
Shout out to that boy Jordan Hollywood, you know what I'm saying, for connecting the dots. But I don't even receive those, you know what I mean? It's pretty whack. You feel me? At the end of the day, and I'm not gonna be the one that says, "Hey, I'm the one that connected the dots here," and be that guy. You know what I mean? I've never been that type of guy. I get my money and I just stay out the way. But sometimes, you sitting at the house and it bothers you sometimes. I'll be lying to say if it didn't bother me that, I helped so many people and they don't ever give me my credit. You know what I mean? And not just producers, not just artists, directors, photographers. I mean, I've been there. I also tweeted, like, it's been 15 plus people that I've taken from nothing, being down bad, broke, homeless, to make them successful, made men in their life. You know what I mean? And to be honest, there's only a handful of them that are still with me today that, are my brothers, and I'm proud to call them my brothers. But the majority of them, they ain't nowhere to be found, and they out there living their lives. And I can't even get a tweet. I can't even get a thank you, Jordan Hollywood, for putting me here. You know what I mean? It's pretty whack.
That's wild. So do most of these people that you have in your mind, you don't have any contact with them? Like, they don't even talk to you at all?
I talk to them all the time. And I love them, right? I love them. You can love people that do whack things. You know what I'm saying? There's just the people you love do whack things. And I like to be friendly with everyone, man. Like I said, I like to have a clean face. I'm not here to start beef with nobody, no problems. That's why I don't be, being direct with certain things like that. There's a time and place to be direct, but it is what it is, man. I got love for everybody. I don't hate nobody. I'm not mad at nobody. And at the end of the day, man, anyone that's helped me, thank you. And anybody that I've helped, you're welcome. Straight up.
That's amazing. I guess I have a kind of controversial question, and there might not be a straight answer to this, but in your opinion, can someone bridge the gap between being a, mainstream artist that appeals to these masses, has potential label payola, but also uphold their artistic integrity?
Of course, 100%. I mean, like QC, that's why they're so amazing. They let me do whatever I want, right? They're not like, it's like I make my album and I turn it in, and then they help me pick singles, and Coach K got like some input and like, yo, we should structure the song differently, but it's never like, no, take that song off or take this song off. There's labels out there that try to control their artists. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot in business, they give you the chance in the beginning to like be yourself. And if it doesn't work, right, they want to figure out a way to get their money back, right? that's when they start coming in and being with more opinions and more, judgmental about your moves, and you know what I mean? But if you come out the gate and you're yourself and it works, I don't think they'll ever try to change you like that. But these labels, man, there's stories that I've heard, and personally, I know people that like the labels are like, you can't even write your own songs no more. You got to go record these songs that we give you. That's a thing that really happens, man, and it's sad, but shit, this industry is like very unfair sometimes.
That is true. That is true. How do you uphold your artistic integrity and your creative process and stay true to yourself? Like, what do you think is the biggest thing that you do to do that?
Well, like I said, I'm blessed to chose the right team.
Yeah.
Right team. Some people choose the wrong team, right? Some people like they're young, they're hungry, they need money, and someone offers them a deal and they just take it without really like doing their information and doing their research, and that's what really fucks you, man. For me, I picked the right team, but even if I was in the wrong situation, it's just like, this is me, this is all I'm doing. You can't force me to do something I don't want to do. You just take it or leave it, And I'm sure some artists try to act like that and it doesn't work well for them, but I'm just blessed enough to not be in that situation. But if I was, man, I would probably do whatever it takes to get out of that shit.
That's true. That's true. How do you determine who you work with or who you want to collaborate with? Or are you kind of open to, working with anybody, just, working in the business?
Usually it just happens organically.
Yeah.
I'm pretty loner. I like record myself. My brother Skip on the Beat produced my whole album. I'm with him like every day. So all my recent stuff, probably like even in my first album, it was all by the same producer. My second album was only 2 producers. So I'm down to work with anybody. I'm always open to collab with other people. But like I said, I'm usually by myself, man. So I just kind of like, work with what's around me at the time. And it's working pretty well. So,
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I'm going to shift gears a little bit again. So I recently covered your track, The Ugly Song, over on EARMILK, and I love the track. I love the video. I think the video is amazing, but I have to ask, what was it like collaborating with Timbaland?
Legendary for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm super into that shit. Like I'm super into the producers and the legends, and like I want to work with as many legends as possible, and he was one of them, and that's one of the best and biggest. But I couldn't have done it without Skip. Right, Skip had a chance to go work with Tim. He sampled one. He called me. I want to sample one of Tim's songs to kind of pay homage and show him like how he could like flip one of his sounds. And we were going through his discography just to like pick the right one. And we came across the Bubba Sparks one. And I remember listening to that song when I was a kid and just like enjoying it and just loving it. The video was so funny back in the day to me. So he made just the beat, brought it to Tim, played the beat for Tim. Tim's like, I love this. Skip texted me, yo, he loves the beat. I'm like, say less. I loaded it up, made the song. The next day we texted it to him. He loved it. He was like mad excited. He started following me on Instagram. And then I was like, yo, let's take the shot in the dark and just ask him to like actually hop on it, like with his vocals. And he sent it back like next day, like with his voice on it. And that's when I was like, oh, this is going to get clear. Like once he hopped on it, I knew like the sample was going to get cleared. Shout out to Bubba Sparks too, man. Cause a lot of these old artists, they're haters, man. They don't want to see the young generation, take what they did and their glory days, and bring it back. And Bubba, he didn't have no ego about it. He just cleared it. I talk to him all the time now, and I'm like very appreciative to him. So shout out to Bubba Sparks, man.
That's so awesome to hear. It's awesome that you've cultivated this relationship with them even after the track. That's amazing. What was your creative inspiration for the music video? I mean, it's wild.
So my boy Austin, he directed that. And we knew like, so me, I like to compete with the biggest artists in the game, right? When it comes to my music, my quality, my videos, but I don't have the same budgets these guys have, right? Like I don't have $200,000 to shoot a video. I don't have $100,000 to shoot a video. The Ugly video cost like $40,000, right? We made that shit look like it was $250,000 in my mind, right? Yeah. So we're like, how do we get this many scenes together with only $40,000. So we're like, fuck it, we're gonna do the whole thing on green screen. And we were coming up with ideas as soon as like the day before the shoot. Like we're sitting down the day before, came out with like the horse idea and all of that stuff. And when I came up with the horse idea, he was like, we're not gonna be able to get a horse by tomorrow, like in budget, So at the shoot, the guy pulls up in like a green outfit, like the guy was like a green morph suit, and he's like, they gave me like a rope. They're like, hold the guy, and I'm like, I'm not doing this. Like this is a little weird. This is a little out of my lane. You know what I mean? Just trust me. You gotta trust me. Believe me, it's gonna work. And I just trusted him, and that shit came out fire, and all the scenes was just amazing. And it was very weird because it was just me standing in green screen, and I had no idea what it was going to look like. So I just, kind of gave my faith in, Blank Square Productions, the company, and they deliver like always.
That's insane to think about, that a green screen, trying to make this come to life like it did in front of a green screen. I couldn't even imagine. I don't have that artistic capability, I guess, as you could say. I know you mentioned that you're a dad. That's wonderful. I did not know that, so that's amazing. If your child wanted to pursue music or start pursuing music, if you had to choose one tidbit of advice to give to them, what would it be?
Whew. Get a lawyer. Get a good one. I know a couple. Just have fun, man. Don't take it too serious, man, because just have fun and enjoy it, because it's a stressful industry, man. Like, I also tweeted the other day, some of the saddest people I've ever met in my life were artists. And it's true. It's the sad truth. I have a lot of people that I know that are up and coming artists that can't figure out how to get their career going. And it's very discouraging when you love something so much and you can't make it work. It's like, imagine like being in love with like a girl, or like for you to be in love with a guy, and they don't want nothing to do with you. It's just not working. It's sad, right? So these up and coming artists that really want to make it work, and they drop awesome music, but they can't figure out how to get views, and that shit's depressing for them. And also big artists, man. I've been in the studio with artists that are multimillionaires that have platinum plaques everywhere, and I've seen them cry. Like, I've seen grown men artists cry in the studio about their problems and their life. And there's a lot of drugs that go on in the music industry, man, because it's like people just trying to numb the pain. It's a really like dark place, man. I'm not gonna lie. So, I would just tell my son, if this is what you want to do, man, have fun, enjoy it, don't take it too serious, man. Until it's time, and when to take it, and get a fucking lawyer.
Yeah.
Get a good lawyer.
I'm going to lead into my next question, but I do want to say this. Kevin and I were chatting before you joined, and he was saying that, you're one of the few artists that actually reads their press releases that go out. That warms my heart as a writer, because, most artists don't even really read what you write. So that makes me so happy to know you actually read what is written about you. That makes me feel so happy. But on that note, I know I read in one of your press releases that you've said being paranoid is healthy. What do you mean by that? So
I just feel like in life and business, especially business, right? Oh, my phone's ringing. I'm sorry. So like in business, man, like you could sign a bad deal and fuck your whole career up, right? Yeah. I'm paranoid about that. Right? That's why I say it's so important to get a lawyer. In life, you could literally, leave the house and die. You could get robbed, you could get shot, you could die having fun. I mean, there's people, the world is crazy, right? So just being paranoid and overthinking certain situations just creates longevity, man. In business and relationships, choosing who your friends are and who you hang out with. I'm very paranoid about things like that. Like, I don't just have random people around me. I don't just sign random artists no more when it comes to the label. You got to go through a trial and error period, like a 3-month period of being around and, bringing you to places to see how you act around certain scenarios before I sign you. And then you go out there and you're a liability to my company. You know what I mean? Just things like that just really help me. And I think it's healthy. I'm sure there's definitely a downside to being paranoid. It takes away some of the fun, because being just like a wild boy and just being out there and just doing freely and not giving a fuck about nothing, that's when you have some of the best times in your life. But that's also when you get in trouble and bad things happen. And I'm just very smart about my moves, and I have anxiety. I suffer from anxiety for sure a lot. It just hits me. But I think it helps. I try to take the all the negatives and make it a positive, so I take the paranoia and the anxiety and use it as like an alarm to help me, stay out of certain scenarios.
That's awesome. I would have never guessed you, of all people, would have anxiety. And I was just about to ask, I mean, I know you're human, you have emotions, you have mental health, all of that, but you have this like very infectious energy, and you're super confident and super bubbly and personable. Where does that come from? How do you channel that? Do you ever get drained? I mean, even me just talking to a few people, I'm drained. So I can't imagine being this like hyper person all the time.
Oh, I definitely get drained for sure. I mean, I'm human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I've been like that since I was a little kid. Like, I'm hyper. My whole family's like that. Like, when we talk on the phone, we walk around like my dad, Even my little baby, he's 2 years old. When he FaceTimes his grandma, he's walking around. When he talks, like I like to move. It keeps me going. Like I feel like if you're too idle, then you just get lazy. I got to stay moving. I always got to be working, standing up. Just changing locations. That's just like my vibe. That's just how I am. And I don't know. It just helps. Just helps me become successful in life.
That's awesome. I know you're in your studio right now. It looks awesome. It looks amazing. Where are you based right now? Do you have like a home base that you consider home?
Yeah, Broward County, Florida. Born and raised, never leaving.
Awesome. And so you spend most of your time there.
Yeah, I spend all the time until I got to go do a show or, take a meeting, or we go to LA a lot, Atlanta, because that's where QC is based. But this is my home. It's where I like to be. This is where I'm comfortable. This is where my facility is. This is where all my producers are. And this is just where I like to be. I'm just comfortable. I'm used to it. This is my area. I like the food. I like the women. I like the weather. I like this. I just like everything. I like the scenery. It's very multicultural down here. So you have a little bit of everything. I just love it.
How much does your location influence your work and, your creative process at all?
I like to feel like a lot, Yeah. It's nice to be somewhere like, go to LA, go to Atlanta. I get very inspired when I go to Atlanta. It's just different scenes. You get inspired anywhere you go, I try to just take my surroundings and put it into the art. But here it's I'm just cozy. Like when you work so hard in life, I feel like one of the main goals is to be comfortable. I used to thug it out when I was young. I used to sleep in cars. I used to fucking sleep on couches. I used to just be that guy. I used to just hustle. I spent all my money on my music and I was never comfortable. You know what I mean? Now I just take pride in flying good. I need to sit first class now. I just need to, I need to live in the house that I like, that's comfortable. I need to have a nice studio to work in. I'm tired of working in studios with no ACs when I was young. And, I already did that. I've been there. I need to be comfortable now. I'm just at that point in my life.
That's so awesome to hear. And on that note, I think this will be my last question just because I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're super busy, but going into the new year, we're closing out 2021. What's your main focus and what's your main goal going into the new year?
Work harder than I worked this year.
Yeah.
I don't like to get too much of I always say that next year is going to be my year. I've been saying that every year since I was 10 years old, man. Like next year gonna be my year. And who's to say that it hasn't been my year yet, right? I've grown every year. I've just never stopped growing. As long as we don't stop growing, I'm gonna be happy. That's just my main thing. The moment we start going down, that's when I'll be depressed.
Yeah.
As long as we keep going up, life's good. No complaints.
That's so amazing to hear. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. I feel energized just talking to you for the 30 minutes or whatever we've been talking, just because you have such a charismatic energy about you. So thank you so much. This has been great.
It's been great for me as well.